Hi book lovers, welcome back to my channel. So today is the first day of the Lunar New Year Readathon, which I'm hosting with my friend Lisa from Remarkably Lisa. This readathon is basically one to celebrate Asian authors and Asian romances. The criteria is basically just reading any book by an Asian author or a book with an Asian main character. It's a weekend readathon, so it'll be happening from Friday to Sunday. Today is Friday and I am starting off with Temporary Wife Temptation by J.C. Lee. This is a Harlequin, so it is fairly short, about 200 pages. So I'll probably get to this one and finish it pretty soon, but I'm really enjoying it so far. It is a fake marriage trope, and the main characters also work together. Garrett, the hero, is the heir apparent to their fashion empire company, and the heroine, Natalie, is the new or interim VP of HR, so they are co-workers. This is gonna be an office romance. It says that they'll be fake husband and wife, but I don't know if they'll actually get married or they'll just pretend they did and call each other husband and wife but not actually be legally bound together. I guess we'll see about that. But this is the author's debut novel. I'm really excited for her. She's so nice, J.C. Lee. She actually reached out one day and asked if I wanted an arc of her other romance release coming this year too, A Sweet Mess, which arrived in the mail. It is adorable. How cute is this cover? It is a foodie romance, if you couldn't tell. The heroine is a baker, and she falls for a food critic who she had a one-night stand with, not knowing that he was the food critic that gave her bakery a bad review. Both of these are Own Voices novels. J.C. Lee is Korean American, and these are Korean American romances. I'm only gonna be reading Temporary Wife Temptation though. Also with me today is my boy, my best boy Boo, who got an ear infection this week, but is a lot better now. Look at him, so cute. Some other books on my TBR are Hotter Than Sin, Eve Montalibano, I think. That one promises to be hot. I'm not sure if it'll be short though. And then I also want to read Trade Me by Courtney Milan, and then Jackie Lau's A Fake Girlfriend for Chinese New Year. I might save that one for tomorrow, the day of Chinese New Year. My family isn't actually going to be celebrating the day of. We're celebrating tonight, Friday night, the day before Chinese New Year. I guess people were just too busy for tomorrow, so we're doing it today. We usually just do a one-day thing, not a whole weekend celebration. We just don't have the energy and time for all of that. Usually we either go out to eat with all the relatives, one giant table with 15-20 people, going out to Monterey Park, the San Gabriel Valley 626 area where all the good Asian foods are in LA. When we celebrate, we usually either do that or we just celebrate at a family's house, and we're gonna be going to my cousin's house tonight and just eating some good food. And yeah, I'll check in with you guys later. Hi everyone. So the lighting is super weird, so just ignore that. I don't know how to fix it without making myself look bad. So right now I am getting ready for the dinner tonight to celebrate Chinese New Year, and I've been tasked by my mom to fill out the red envelopes, which is a Chinese New Year tradition. Basically, the parents, the grandparents, aunts and uncles give the children, even though we're not really children anymore, but they give the children red envelopes that are filled with money. Up to them how much they want to give, but depends on the holiday. It's basically a version of a gift, but instead of a physical gift, it's just money, which I mean, I don't mind. Right now I'm just filling these up with 20 bucks. I'm still in the middle of reading Temporary Wife Temptation by J.C. Lee, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I originally thought that it was gonna be a fake marriage. They're not gonna actually get married, but it seems like they really are, so it's gonna be a marriage of convenience rather than just like pretending they're husband and wife. They actually are gonna be. It's written like a Harlequin would be. I've actually been binging a lot of Harlequins lately. Mostly the old school ones, like ones by Charlotte Lamb. I freaking love her books, as crazy and ridiculous as they are, but they're so angsty and so freaking good. I actually really like the designs of these this year. They're super cute. They change it up every year. My mom just grabs these from the bank. So it is the end of the night, end of the first night of the Lunar New Year readathon. I just got back from my family dinner, and I honestly thought I was gonna read more of Temporary Wife Temptation than I actually did. I'm a little bit over halfway. I'm on page 126 and there's like 200 pages. They actually just got married and they both really want a bone, even though they like put in their contract that there's no sexual like relations in this fake marriage. So yeah, it's going great. I love that these Harlequins can fit so easily into my purse. Like, come on, how nice is that? Fits perfectly. I love it. I'll probably read more of it once I like shower and just get ready for bed. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Welcome back and happy Chinese New Year, happy Lunar New Year. It is Saturday, day 2 of the readathon, and honestly, I didn't really do much today. Didn't really celebrate just because we did it yesterday, but some book updates. I finished reading Temporary Wife Temptation and I really enjoyed it. This was a really great debut. I am giving it 4 stars just because I wanted a little bit more. It is a really short book, so some things like parts of the story weren't as fleshed out as I was hoping it would be, but otherwise I really loved the main characters. I loved Garrett. He's such like an alpha hero. I love that. I loved seeing like an alpha Asian male character, and Natalie was really great, really strong, like the perfect match for Garrett. Lots of great chemistry and tension between these two. It was just a solid debut from JC Lee, and now I'm really excited about her other book releasing this year, A Sweet Mess, and also she has 2 more books coming out in the Heirs of Hansel series. This next book is going to be about Garrett's younger sister, Adelaide, and she falls for her brother's best friend. You can see that there's like a little hint of something between them in this book. JC Lee actually like commented on my post saying that she just finished writing the 3rd book, the last book in this series, about Ji-hae, who is the woman that Garrett's grandmother told him that he had to marry, but he refused, of course. But I was surprised that the author was writing a book for her just because she never actually showed up in this one. She's just mentioned by name, but I am looking forward to both of those sequels. The 2nd book is supposed to be coming out later this year, and I think it's super awesome that like this debut author is releasing 3 freaking books during her first year. This is definitely an author to be on the lookout for. And then I started Trade Me by Courtney Milan. This is the first book in the Cyclone series. I actually love the premise of this one. It is a college romance. Tina is living the very poor college student life. She's like barely making ends meet, and any money that she makes she has to send to her family to help support them. And Blake, on the other hand, is like the son of a billionaire. His father wants him to inherit the family's $1 billion company, so he's never like had to know what it was like to live in Tina's shoes, but they end up making a deal with each other to swap lives for a little while. I'm liking it so far. I'm 55% of the way done. It's very, very slow burn. I mean, there's a lot of chemistry between them and they obviously really want each other, but nothing has really happened from that, mainly because Tina can't afford to, literally and figuratively, to be with Blake. This is my second book from this author. The first one that I read from Courtney Vallon was one of her historical romances. That one was okay. I am liking this one a little bit more though. We'll see if I do end up loving it by the end. It's a very interesting book, a lot of focus on wealth, the politics of wealth, but some Lunar New Year related stuff. I got some books in the mail today, my Amazon order. I was really surprised because, well, I don't have Prime, so usually books take like a week to arrive, but these two only took 2 and 3 days to arrive. So I got one of my favorite books of the year so far, even though it's only like 3 weeks into the new year, but I have credits and it's so freaking beautiful. I wanted to get this one because I'll be seeing the author in a few weeks at the Love and Queen Mary signing. She did have a pre-order, but I was just like, I want to take pretty pictures with it beforehand. Just look at how pretty this is. I love how she has books that don't have cover models on them anymore, except for Birthday Girl. And then my other book that I got is Act Your Age by Eve Dangerfield. This is one of my favorite books. I love it. It is an erotic romance all about daddy kink. It's not your thing, then don't read it. That's totally fine. But if you do like it, definitely read this one. It is an office romance. It's got an age gap. The hero is like 20-ish years older than the heroine. He is very much a grumpy hero. And yeah, that's about all the bookish updates I have for today. Tomorrow is going to be the last day of the readathon. I'm kind of sad. I've been really enjoying the readathon and I'm so happy that people are also participating. Me and Lisa honestly thought that we would be the only ones doing this, which I mean, we didn't mind, but I love seeing everyone joining in, seeing all these new books that I haven't heard about and being able to add them to my TBR. That's been awesome. So thank you if you joined, and I will see you all tomorrow. Hi everyone, it is Sunday, the last day of the Lunar New Year Readathon. It's been a lot of fun. So far, I loved being able to read new to me authors and read more authors that I've been wanting to read more of. So some book updates. Saturday, I spent the day reading Trade Me by Courtney Vallon. This is the first book in her Cyclone series, and I ended up finishing it faster than I thought I would. First, I really liked the premise of it, about the main characters, Blake and Tina, switching lives. I thought that part was really well done. It is very, very slow burn. The story focuses a lot on their own individual journeys, Blake and him dealing with whether or not he is able to take on like the CEO position that his father wants him to inherit, and Tina dealing with her money struggles, her struggles with her family. And while I thought it was interesting, I kind of wanted more romance, and even when things did pick up with the romance, it just wasn't enough for my liking. It wasn't as prominent as like the secondary stuff was, but the writing is really great, really strong. You can tell that Courtney Vallon knows what she's talking about when she goes deep into the whole like technology stuff. So I'm giving this one like a 3.5. It's like almost 4 stars, but not quite. I just really wanted the romance to be more prominent than it was. So next I picked up A Fake Girlfriend for Chinese New Year by Jackie Lau. I thought it was really cute. I enjoyed it. Just a really quick, short, and adorable read, but the writing itself it just wasn't like my style. It felt a little bit too formal for me. So that's why I'm like in between 3.5 stars for that one. But I mean, of course, I love that it was about Chinese New Year, reading about like a Chinese Canadian guy family. That aspect I just really loved reading. So I would still recommend it if you like Friends to Lovers, if you want something really like wholesome and sweet and short. It's a great book to pick up. So today I actually wanted to read something a little bit more steamy. Of the 3 books that I already read, I'd say Temporary Wife Temptation is the steamiest, and I wouldn't really call it too steamy. That's why I was eyeing Heavy Equipment by Skye Warren. Apparently I already listened to it because I listened to the first like 15 or 20 audiobooks from Read Me Romance before I kind of stopped catching up. I checked on Goodreads too, and I read it. I read Heavy Equipment already. I gave it 4 stars too. So I went with Bad for the Boss by Talia Hibbert. This one is a Black woman, Asian man kind of romance, which is kind of its own thing on Amazon. Like you can find it when you type BWAM romances. I love Talia Hibbert, so I was like, why not? This one sounds really hot. It's an office romance. It's a boss employee kind of romance with an age gap, like an older daddy-ish Asian hero. I was actually debating whether to just continue with the Cyclone series because I was super intrigued by Maria, who is the heroine of the second book. She is Tina's best friend slash roommate, and I loved her character so much, so I was really looking forward to reading her book, but I might save it for after the readathon because I'm not sure I'll have time for anything else after Bad for the Boss. This is going to be my 4th book for the readathon. I didn't really expect to read that many, but then again, 2 books were pretty short. Temporary Wife Temptation and A Fake Girlfriend for Chinese New Year are really short books, about 200 pages, so I flew by those. So yeah, I will update you guys on how I think Bad for the Boss is. I'm almost done with Bad for the Boss by Talia Hibbert, and I am loving it. It was exactly what I was looking for, something hot and steamy. I'm loving Theo and Jen so much. Jen, she kind of mistakenly emails Theo thinking that she's emailing her boss, like her manager, about this coworker who's really annoying her. But of course she mistakenly sends it to one of the company's partners, Theo, and Theo responds, and they have like a cute little email flirtation going on, and eventually Theo asks her to meet him at the office just to discuss like the coworker who is basically sexually harassing her. Jen doesn't really want to do anything about it though, which I was kind of like, eh. But when Theo and Jen first meet, sparks fly. Very clear, you can tell that the 2 of them really want each other. Theo is a super hot older Asian silver fox, and Jen is a gorgeous, curvy, stretch marks and all Black woman. Theo is a very worshipping kind of hero, which I always love reading about. He like wants everything with Jen, and obviously Jen is very hesitant because he is her boss and she has everything to lose while he doesn't. The steaminess is great. I'm loving the dirty talk from Theo. Lots of spanking going on. It's just been a really fun read and I love it. But I can kind of tell that this is one of Talia Hibbert's earlier works just because the writing is not as polished as like her newer stuff, or maybe she just didn't have as good an editor back then. Also, do you love my mom's decoration of her plant? Ta-da! Hello, I'm back. So I have finished Bad for the Boss by Talia Hibbert. I loved it, giving it 4 stars. It was exactly the kind of read that I wanted. A book that was really hot, great chemistry. Theo was wonderful. I loved him. And now it's almost midnight, actually, Sunday midnight, so the readathon is ending, but I ended up starting another book just because I couldn't help myself. I started Hold Me by Courtney Milan, the second book in the Cyclone series about Maria, the best friend from the first book. I mean, I don't really expect to finish it by midnight, but I might just count it anyway for the readathon just because I'm so into it so far. Like, I'm loving Maria. Jay, I'm kind of like iffy about, but I'm just loving their enemies to lovers romance. I was initially interested with Maria because she was such a fierce and amazing female character in the first book, so supportive of Tina, but also like a very prominent character herself. She is trans, she's a trans woman. She was kicked out of her home when she was 12 because her parents couldn't accept that, and she was taken in by her grandmother. So her romance, her enemies to lovers romance, is reminiscent of the movie You've Got Mail. I have not watched this movie. If anyone knows me, you're not surprised because I don't really watch movies. But I mean, I know enough of the movie to like understand the connection between You've Got Mail and Hold Me. While Maria and Jay in real life hate each other, they get off to the worst start ever. Online though, where they do not know each other, they're kind of in love. In real life, where they do not know that that they've been messaging each other online. Jay is Maria's brother's best friend. When he meets Maria for the first time, he kind of crosses her off as like this vapid girly girl who couldn't possibly understand anything besides like fashion and taking selfies, which is really freaking dumb, and it's kind of hard for him to go back from that, to make his character more appealing from that. But Courtney Milan has been doing that slowly. Maria and Jay have a very intense enemies to lovers romance. Like, the enemies is like, they go after each other hard, especially Jay. He still has a lot of making up to do in my opinion, but it's just so very well written. I'm so addicted. I cannot put this book down. Courtney Milan is a fantastic writer. And if you love enemies to lovers, if you love characters that just don't hold back from each other, this is an amazing one to read. I'm just really excited to read more of it. I'm almost done, so I will see you tomorrow. Hello, welcome back. So the readathon is officially over. I had such an amazing time. I was so happy that people actually joined in. Seeing everyone's posts about it, everyone tagging us in their stories, seeing their TBRs, seeing people loving authors that were new to them or had been on their TBRs for like the longest time. I was just glad to help in diversifying people's reads, people's romance reads. So to recap the weekend, I read 5 books, technically like 4.5, but I'm still counting Hold Me. And my first read, Temporary Wife Temptation by J.C. Lee, was a debut romance, and I'm so happy I was able to read it, that I had an early copy from the publisher. I adore that one so much. Definitely looking forward to the rest of the series, as well as J.C. Lee's other romance this year, A Sweet Mess. And then I read Trade Me by Courtney Milan. This was my second book from this author. It was very different, lots of talk about the politics of money, all this tech stuff that kind of goes over my head, but still enjoyable to read. If you're looking for a college romance that's a little different, definitely give this one a try. And then my third book was A Fake Girlfriend for Chinese New Year by Jackie Lau. Really happy that I finally read Jackie Lau. She's been on my TBR since I discovered her on Twitter. Sadly, did not read the series in order. The Chinese New Year one is book 3 or 4. I think 3 in the Holidays with the Wong series, but I am planning on reading the other books in the series. She has a Second Chance Romance one that Lisa read, remarkably Lisa read, and she loved that one, so I kind of have to read it now. Jackie Lau also has another book in the series coming out for Valentine's Day. That one is the Brother's Best Friend trope. I do have to say though that while I like this book, I didn't really love it. I'm giving it a 3, maybe 3.5 stars. I liked Zach and Joe's characters, but they never really popped out at me, you know. I did love Zach's family though, his super Asian family. Their traditions and the way that they celebrate Chinese New Year is very similar to how I do it, how my family does it, and I love being able to see that in a romance. But otherwise, it's a very like low drama, straightforward kind of friends to lovers romance. It's super sweet, super wholesome. Jackie Lau's writing is kind of iffy for me. It was a little hard for me to get into just because it's a little formal and doesn't flow that well for me. But hopefully if I read more of her books, it'll grow on me. And then the next book that I read, not actually counting it just because I had to DNF that one, I couldn't finish it. It was Hotter Than Sin by Eve Montelubano. This one, I struggled so hard with the writing just because it felt like it was written like on Wattpad, or it was written for Wattpad. A very like juvenile style of writing, like how I would write if I was writing some fan fiction for a book that I loved in middle school. It was just really hard to get into, and also I didn't really see how it could be as long as it was. It definitely didn't need to be as long as it was. It had a lot of potential just because I love age gap romances. But this one was just a little iffy too, just because the hero has known the heroine since she was born. He is her father's best friend. So I just had to like put this one down. I knew I couldn't finish it. My fourth book, the fourth book that I finished, was Bad for the Boss by Talia Hibbert. This one is an age gap romance that did work for me. It was hot, it was steamy, lots of great dirty talk, a worshipping hero who adores the ground that the heroine walks on. There is an element of suspense, especially towards the end, about this stalker of the heroines who's been harassing her. I just really loved Theo and Jen's characters. They're fantastic, and I'm really happy that I got to read more of Talia Hibbert. I read her for the first time last year. Love those two, so I'm glad this streak is continuing. And then my last book actually finished like the last 20% today on Monday, but I'm still counting it because I read a good chunk of it Sunday night. It was so good I couldn't put it down. I really didn't want to put it down, but I had to sleep. I love this enemies to lovers romance. It was so addicting just because I was like, what are they gonna do next? How are they gonna hurt each other next? How are they gonna ever come back from this? What will happen when they figure out the truth about who the other person is? I was just very much on the edge of my seat reading this book. I loved Maria. She is so far my favorite Cyclone character ever. The only reason though why I'm not giving Hold Me like a full 5 stars, it's like 4.5. It's because I wanted more at the end. There's no epilogue. I don't really think Courtney Milan does epilogues because there wasn't one for Trade Me. It ends on a happy for now-ish feel. Like yes, they're in love, but I feel like so many things could have been wrapped up too. I felt like a lot of things were left open-ended, and unlike the first book, I don't think Jay and Maria are getting another book, but otherwise I am looking forward to the other books in the series. Apparently Courtney Milan is the slowest writer ever. She says it herself. She calls herself a slow writer, and I mean I can tell because last year she only wrote 2 books, released 2 books, and both of them were novellas, and there is no set release date for any of these future Cyclone books. So I won't be, you know, holding my breath waiting for these books, but I will definitely read them when they come out. So that was how my Lunar New Year readathon went. I'd say it went pretty well overall. I enjoyed all of them, the ones that I actually finished. I read 1 debut author and 1 new to me author. So this was so much fun. Lisa and I definitely want to do another one next year, keep it like an annual thing. I love that people are also interested in doing this again next year. Thank you to everyone who participated in the Lunar New Year readathon. It was so great seeing everyone's posts and interacting with everyone. I still have my list of Asian authors and romances on my blog, so I'll link it down below if you want more books to read. Let me know if you joined in, if you read anything that you ended up loving, a new author that you finally read. I'd love to hear how your readathon went. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll link all the books that I mentioned in the description below, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!